Alright, guys, so this is a Patreon request that comes from James Finnegan, who asked me to do a top 10 Ed, and Eddy list. Originally, it was Avatar. And he asked me to do a top 10 Avatar list and a top 10 Ed, and Eddy list. And I was going to do Avatar first, but I was like, you know what? I was re-watching Ed, and Eddy, and I was like, you know what? I want to do the Ed, and Eddy list first. I'll wait for to do the top 10 Avatar episode list. Probably closer to the show. Yeah. So yeah. So once again, thank you for that. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoy this, and hit the link up below. Head over to my Patreon. Hit the third tier. I'm sorry, I'm so like scatterbrained. Like I've been saying for the past few videos, I've been recovering from the flu, and it's taken a lot out of me. Like I've been obviously I don't want to talk too much because you know how by just how I sound. But not only that, like I have been sleeping 70% of the day. I am that wiped out, and I'm probably after this going to fall asleep again. So yeah. Anyway, let's get started. Now, for reference, it isn't a top 10 episode. It was going to be a top 10, but I was like, there's no way I can rank these. There's no way. And there's so many episodes of Ed, and Eddy I love. It was really hard to mark it down to 10. So here are just 10 episodes in no order of Ed, and Eddy that I love. And this was a hard list to make because there was a shit ton. Ed, and Eddy's one of my favorite shows ever. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's get started. Starting off with our first episode, and always, if you think an episode should be on this list at all, that's fine. I'm always excited to hear what you guys have in the comments below. But anyway, let's get started with the first episode, and that is The Day the Ed Stood Still. This is the episode where Ed puts on a monster costume and rampages across the cul-de-sac while his imagination goes completely apeshit. It's a fun episode. It very much invokes Alien, Godzilla. It's very clear the Antonucci and everyone else behind the project really loved bringing out that kind of 50s sci-fi aesthetic for this episode. And Ed this kind of proves that Ed is everyone should be so lucky that Ed is not is just like completely cruel and evil, because the things he could do to people is horrifying. But this episode's a lot of fun. There's some great jokes. There's some great physical humor. I think they do a great job. Next up, A Twist of Ed. Arguably, probably one of my favorite if not my favorite Kanker-centric episode. There's some great jokes, especially from Ed, where he's like, "Bun cake breaks rock? No cake. Only rock breaks rock. Pizza breaks rock? No pizza. Rock. Half-eaten pretzel eats rock. Must Ralph beat some sense into that overcooked noodle that you call a head?" I can't do anything voice. Oh my god. There is some great, again, physical humor in here. The jokes are awesome, and this as someone who loves the Eds and Kankers together, it's kind of a interesting role reversal. Anyway, next up, Once Upon a Ed. Once Upon a Ed is one when they're all trapped inside the Johnny's wall, and they're trying to tell him a bedtime story in their own unique way. One of the best jokes ever is when they break the fourth wall, when the Titan Kanker sisters like all fuse into one head, and he just goes, "Ed, your story's getting weird." It's a great joke. Yeah. Next up, A Glass of Warm Ed. This is the episode where Ed is sleepwalking, something they come back to in a later episode, and he's sleep eating. I really love the just kind of like almost Charlie Chaplin-esque take they have with Ed sleep eating. The thing with Ed, and Eddy, and I've always said this, is that it's very much like our generation's Three Stooges. You can clearly see it. And there's another episode I'll get into where it really feels like the it's Three Stooges inspiration came from, and really feels it really hits home. But here it feels very Charlie Chaplin-esque, and I will occasionally throw this line out because of how just bizarre it is, but it works. Good thing I'm a man of the world. Anyway, I don't know, what is that? What does that even mean? I've never heard anyone use that. I really think we should bring that back. Next up, and this is what I was talking about, Ed, and Away. This is where the Eds are all chasing after a balloon, and physical comedy ensues. This, this more than any other episode, really encapsulates that kind of Three Stooges, very vaudevillian, physical humor, but turned up with a little more pain. It's just the Eds trying to catch a balloon, and that's it. There is some excellent physical comedy. There is some excellent work in animation. It's just a funny episode. Next up, Know-It-All Ed. This is the episode where the Eds get Canadian squirt guns. It's, again, a fun a parody of Westerns. There's a few good, like small jokes that when you re-listen to them again, it's like, oh, that makes sense now. That's even funnier. Yeah. The Canadian... I love the Canadians are weird joke. Yeah. All of these episodes are just fun. That's really the big thing here, is that they're all just hilarious and, very quick-witted. Next up, Honor Thy Ed. This was one of the first episodes I had seen from Ed, and Eddy. And Honor Thy Ed was a fun, it makes fun of haunted houses. I love the ways the Cankers literally jerry-rigged an entire abandoned house just so they could get the Eds to marry them in a hilarious Machiavellian plan. And it kind of shows how smart the Cankers are, really. Following that, we have Run for Your Ed. This is another Canker episode. It's hilarious because the Eds play no part in the episode. It does also call back to the to Glass of Warm Ed, where Ed's sleeping and got the Canker ship in a bottle stuck on his finger, and the Eds are just trying to do... It's, again, a very Three Stooges-esque story, where the Eds are trying desperately to get this bottle off, and nothing's working. It's very much like the Three Stooges. And meanwhile, the Cankers are destroying everything in their path. And it ends on a very hilarious note, really. So, for our next episode, I had to put in one of the specials on this list, and that is Ed, and Eddy's Boohaha. This is the Halloween special, where Ed becomes Lothor, the Viking warrior who just, after watching hours upon hours of horror movies, his mind is fucked up, and Ed proceeds to just destroy his way through the cul-de-sac, encountering everyone, while Eddy tries to get them all to Spookyville. So the ending is a great ending. Again, it really has some great monster designs for Ed's hallucinations, and I absolutely love a lot of this episode. Anyway, and finally, 1 + 1 = Ed. This is the episode where it starts out with the Eds trying to learn about things, and they end up at what is essentially the Twilight Zone. There is no explanation for them ending up in this weird reality other than just shenanigans, and that's it. You can clearly see the anime, I don't know if someone just went fuck it and just said, hey, this episode's kind of boring, let's just throw in the idea of them going into some weird place that has no explanation for it, or if that was always the idea. I don't know, but it was just a fun episode. It's a great animation episode because they really make fun of a lot of old Acme Looney Tunes-esque tropes as well. So there you go, 10 episodes of 10 favorite Ed, and Eddy episodes. Or at least 10 that I wanted to pick, of 10 I really love. There were so many. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what are 10 of your favorite episodes of Ed, and Eddy? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'd like to thank James Finnegan for sending this Patreon request. Like I said before, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.